Hello, it's Kevin here. Time for a video. Someone just posted a letter in the group, so we're going to take a look at that. First things first, as always, put my disclaimer: fair use, non-profit, teaching purposes, etc. Okay, so just put that there because we've got some case notes from somewhere. I'm not quite sure where these are. They look authentic though, so we'll see. Anyway, so as always, you go to the task at first. Okay, so you're writing to the psychiatrist. Okay, reactive depression and anxiety. Patient has agreed to a referral to a psychiatrist. So we've got depression, nightmares, insomnia, loss of confidence. Okay, considering quitting the job. Recommended, didn't want to go, but came back a week later, not been taking the drugs, and now agreed to a psychiatric referral. Okay, seems pretty straightforward stuff. And we've got some other stuff here. We've got all the blood. We don't need this. All this stuff is irrelevant. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. So most of this we don't need. So just, what's this? 11th of December 2013. So fainted. No symptoms. Busy, stressful. So we've got 11th of December. Okay. So she wasn't very happy at that time. She's under some stress at that time, and we've got all this other stuff about bad chest, so be a bit anxious, but that's about something else. So 11th of December. Okay, and then what's the date for this one? So is it a year later? Let me just check. 11th of December 2013. So that's when she started. So it's like 11 months, nearly a year afterwards, after that initial episode of feeling stressed, etc. So most of this first page we can ignore, essentially. Don't really need it. So here it says she lives with a long-term boyfriend, but strangely in the next one it says that she is now living alone. So that doesn't seem to make sense. Seems to be a bit of a contradiction there. Okay, anyway, we'll take a look, see what we can see. So now, first thing, word count. I believe it's too short. 161 in the body of the letter, so that's too short. So okay, we've got the greeting, reference, the DOB. Writing to refer Ms Hoffman, 28-year-old woman. Well, we can kind of work that out from the name, so you could just probably say age 28. You don't need to tell us that she's a woman, really. We can work it out. Who is diagnosed, or who has been diagnosed, or who is a case of reactive depression and anxiety, further management. Okay, he doesn't really say a lot, but now, as I keep saying, and the criteria say, so it's not just my opinion, you have to restate the purpose in more detail at the end. So, you know, a few people would appreciate seeing give management. Okay, a little bit short. Now, as I keep saying, right, you have to. It's all about putting information in the order of importance. So you say, right, you want me to further manage this patient. She's got reactive depression, anxiety. Okay, so what I want to know is, tell me something about that. Oh, she's visited me several times. Okay, but and to what purpose? So simply putting that information there makes no sense at all to The reader visited me several times. Okay, but I want you to tell me about why you diagnosed her with reactive depression and anxiety. So, okay, let's continue. I'm trying to present with officially for 3 days accordingly. Okay, well, that's not the most important part of a sentence. That's why she was in your office to see you. So you don't really need to mention that. That's not important. Fact is that she came in for something while she was there. Now, this paragraph, this is not a paragraph. It's a list of short sentences. Look, short sentence, 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 and sentence. You need to conjoin these. This looks more like a series of case notes rather than a cohesive paragraph with several sentences. So she was having depression that was associated with stressful job, with her stressful job or a stressful job. Moreover, so you can, why is that a separate sentence? You can make, stressful job as well as memories, concentration issues, lack of confidence. She wanted to quit her job. So you've got this separate sentence. Okay, well, why have you put that there, associated with a stressful job, which you wanted to quit? Are you going to put that there, So you've got job and you've got some more stuff and you've got job. So we need to group this like information. Okay, I mean, I don't know if I would include that. Doesn't really tell me anything. She's got a stressful job. However, she refused to consult with a psychiatrist. Okay, therefore was prescribed at night. Review visit was scheduled in 1 week. So I would join these up. I'm not going to rewrite the whole thing. Well, not so well. So she had depression that was stressful jobs with concentration, lack of confidence. So I would say maybe a psychiatrist, a psychiatric consultant was offered, however she refused. Therefore, timazepam. Okay. Today, Ms Hoffman, that she was not mentioned, simply mentioned. Now, you need to watch these verbs. To mention something means like a casual aside. Oh, by the way, I'm not interested in taking medications. Okay, so this presumably is the review. And that's it. That's all. One single sentence. So, I mean, if we look at the case notes, it says, right, so there's all this stuff here, those utter tolerance and blah, 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 blah. And then, so this is when you made the diagnosis on today's visit, reactive depression and anxiety. So you need to mention that, not simply today she mentioned she was not interested to take, so she was not interested in taking medications. Okay, and agreed to consult with a psychiatrist, but why? So, this doesn't make a lot of sense. It's too short. It's not connecting the dots. It's not joining the dots up information. So you need to mention today Ms Hoffman represented. Is it what? Unchanging symptoms? Was she still feeling represented with, I don't know, we say this, with unchanging symptoms. She was still not so good. Changing symptoms. What else could we put? Presumably not change. So you need to mention the diagnosis. Unchanging symptoms. My provisional diagnosis was, what is it? Reactive depression. Okay, anyway, something such as depression, despite being prescribed, what was she prescribed? Temazepam. How do you spell that? Temazepam. Despite being prescribed temazepam for her condition, she had, what you say? She didn't fill the script. She didn't fill it. Okay. So condition. She had left her script unfilled and stated. She didn't simply mention in the side, oh, by the way, she actually said this and stated her disinterest in taking medication. Okay, you could do something like that. Okay, so you can see we're filling out today's visit, which was rather sparse before. We just had one sentence. So medication. However, so it's a contrast with a previous position. However, she has now agreed. Oops, I need to type. However, she has now agreed to consult with a psychiatrist. Now, low tolerance for alcohol recently. Okay, but that was mentioned in the previous visit. So, you know, that needs to be mentioned. So this is like a week before today's visit. So the thing that she came for, the oral facial, is nonsense. While she was there, she was talking about, oh, I've got all this stress, doctor, I'm not feeling good, you know, I'm alone, I want to quit my job, etc. So all that needs to be mentioned there, not putting this at the bottom after today's the visit. So all this needs to be put here. Okay. So that will give us some, well, me, the psychiatrist, some idea, or possibly why she's feeling the way that she's feeling. So confidence. She had recently split with her boyfriend. So this is trying to, you know, give me some idea of what may be causing this. All right. So she was having depression. That was something else. She was my friend. She was able to quit her job. Now, you need to mention the psychiatrist visit was suggested. Not simply say, oh, and I don't want to consult with a psychiatrist. You'd have to mention it, why, you know, why that was mentioned at first. So, depression, special job, something stressors. My boyfriend wanted to quit her job. Okay, well, like I say, I'm not going to rewrite the whole thing. I don't have the time. Despite her obvious anxiety and my suggestion to see a psychiatrist. Sorry, my bloody typing. Psychiatrist. So psychiatrist. She refused. Maybe. Okay, this is better. In view of her obvious anxiety, I suggested. Yeah, it is better. So, in view of her obvious anxiety, I suggested she see a psychiatrist. Which offer she refused. Okay. You can do that. I wouldn't say therefore. Maybe subsequently, as in following afterwards, subsequently. Temazepam was prescribed at night. And join your sentences. Few visit was scheduled in 1 week. Okay, so we're starting to fill things out a little bit now. During the consultation. This is how you can fill out that word count as well. During the consultation, she reported. So, right, that's the reason why she was there. That's just an aside. So, during the consultation, she reported, doc, I'm not feeling good, depression, nightmares, and a stressful job, which she wanted to quit. Okay. As well as memory concentration issues, lack of confidence, and a recent split. Okay, with her boyfriend. Okay, so this is coming together now. All right. Okay, right. That's better. So, during the consultation, she reported having depression, low libido, associated with stress and job, which she wanted to quit, as well as memory concentration issues, loss of confidence, and a recent split with her boyfriend. So I've got all that stuff in now, together. All right. I'm a psychiatrist. Am I going to be prescribing a penicillin? I'm a psychiatrist. Am I going to give her a drink while she's there? So we don't need this. All right. So. Right, Ms Hoffman, who was diagnosed with a case of reactive depression and anxiety. Further management, okay, that's a non-defining relative clause now. I put in that comma. So, initial presentation, the one that I'm interested in. During consultation, reported she spoke with boyfriend, obvious anxiety, okay. Representative changing symptoms, consultation, visual diagnosis, despite being prescribed, she left the script fulfilled. However, she has now agreed to consult with a psychiatrist. Right, so that's good. Now, let me accept the changes now. I'll accept them all. Let's see what it looks like now. Okay, let's have a look at it now. So this is the changed version. I'll take them changes off. So now, what do we have now for the word count? Let's have a look. Because that is standard. We don't really need that. 175. Okay. It's a little bit better. I will probably put some more in the purpose then to make that, to fill that out a little bit. Maybe put more in the purpose and restate the purpose at the bottom. So depression for further management, because we've got the same thing here. Okay. So 21st accordingly during consultation, as well as obviously with a boyfriend. In view of her obvious anxiety, she should see a psychiatrist, which offer she refused, and a review visit was scheduled in 1 week. Changing symptoms, suspected depression, she lets it fulfill this, she agreed to consult with a psychiatrist. Okay, so right now, I hope that looks a little bit more like it now. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. I think that fills out the story a little bit more. I would probably put more in the purpose, maybe, and at the closing. If you're the above, I would appreciate if you could see Ms Hoffman for consultation and assessment and further treatment as required, or something there. So you could add like another 10 or 15 words there. That would make it 190 words. So you could do that. And okay, hope that helps, right? So you can see the difference between this new version and the original version. Okay, I hope that gives you some ideas of how to fill things out. This is not perfect. I would, if I were to write my own version, I would do it in a slightly different way, but I don't have the time to do that now, nor the patience, because I'm pretty busy, as always. But anyway, I hope that helps. So, if you're watching this on YouTube, check out the links below. If you're watching it on Telegram, if you're in my group, I hope that helps. So, there we go. I'll see you next time for another video.